attentive and being here in numbers. Thank you. So I thought maybe we'll just kick off with the principles that you're keeping at the back of your mind as you negotiate India's interests in the global marketplace, which is pretty much in turmoil and dealing with some unpredictable folks. So maybe I open it.
No, I'm okay. Thank you very much, Sanjay, Sajanji, and thank you very much all the friends. And I think I could almost recognize 50% of the people around the room. Lovely to be back home, lovely to be in Mumbai on a day which I hope would have been a little more rainy, but doesn't seem to be like that. Otherwise, the rooftop on a rainy day, one of the finest places to be on a Saturday afternoon. Congratulations, Mindaji. Congratulations, Amitabh, for the new responsibility. And we look forward to your bringing in more dynamism and continue the good work that Sanjay has taken forward. Of course, I will also hope that all the other distinguished past presidents and captains of industry engaged or involved with ASSOCHAM will also remain active. I'm seeing many of you after a long time in an ASSOCHAM program. So I think my earnest request to everybody in the room and those who may not be here today also, that it's a 100-year-old organization. It's important that we maintain its relevance and sanctity. We ensure there's a proper youth brigade, bringing in the next gen into the organization with its own dynamism. And also we ensure that it continues to be relevant in policy making, in feedback, in taking India to the world, taking forward a greater industry association engagement, so that we remain relevant and we don't fade away, even in the domain of policy making, in the domain of acting as a bridge between government and stakeholders, trade, industry, commerce, and for that matter, even consumers. It's a very vast area that ASSOCHAM will hopefully continue to contribute, and I wish all of you the very best in your efforts. You spoke about 3 topics. Let me try and focus on that, and then we can possibly engage with all of you and address some of your concerns or thoughts. I've very clearly articulated that our negotiation strategy hinges on national interest. At no point of time will the Modi government ever allow national interest to be compromised. That is a given. That is the pillar on which all negotiations, all discussions, all dialogue with any country in the world is taken forward. And you can rest assured that that doctrine will never ever be compromised. Having said that, national interest is intertwined with several subjects. Over the last 11 years, we have been able to build trust across the world in the India story. And if you look back 10, 12 years ago, there was this huge trust deficit on India. We were written off as a Fragile Five company. From that situation to where we are, where we have a trust dividend instead of a trust deficit. And that, in a way, is the centerpiece also of our negotiations with any country. And friends, I can tell you, the immense respect that India gets across the world, the immense confidence that governments and stakeholders across the world have in all of you, and your ability to deliver, your ability to deliver high quality goods and services, your ability to use investments into India for good returns, for good outcomes, your ability to meet your commitments to your customers or other stakeholders, even in the most challenging of times, has earned India phenomenal trust across the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, for the last 11 years, consistently is ranked the most popular leader of the world. He continues to enjoy the trust of the people of India, the world's most populous country, most vibrant democracy, most open democracy. And if you look at the leaders across the world today, amongst all the major economies, I think he would be the senior most. I don't think there's any other leader who's been in government for 11 years and going strong across the world. And of course, with 27 international awards, 4 of them bestowed on him only in the last trip. 11, I think, have come in only in this term, third term. In 13 months, 11 nations have chosen to award him the highest national honor. And that honor is, Mr. Modi is being honored because of 140 crore Indians. The world is recognizing our strength today. The world is recognizing that talent and skill is in India. And that is what gives us that negotiation leverage. For those who may have at some point of time contributed to our negotiations with UK, our continuing ongoing negotiations with EU and US, Chile, Peru, New Zealand, Australia to complete the second tranche, you will realize that today we are negotiating with advanced or developed economies. We are not trying to do trade deals or focus only on trade deals with our competitors. We are looking at complementary economies. Just a few minutes ago, a senior leader from amongst you mentioned to me that getting any goods from an economy which has a $50,000 per capita income or $70,000 per capita income into India is no competition for us. They just can't compete with us in products that we do in India or services that we provide from India. There's no way at that labor cost, at that per capita GDP, they are in any way a competitor to us for what we do. What they can provide us actually complements and supports our own development growth journey. And therefore, another focus has been on the developed economies when we are talking about trade. Of course, protecting the interests of farmers, particularly our MSMEs and industry in general, is a very, very strong imperative in every negotiation. There is absolutely no way we will compromise on the interests of our farmers, MSMEs, the interests of our workers. Our effort is to give them more opportunity, to give them more trade internationally along with their growing markets in India with growing incomes. Our effort is to make sure workers get better, higher skilled jobs. Our effort is to get investments and technology. Our effort is to focus on innovation, like we did with the EFTA countries, Switzerland, Norway, Liechtenstein and Iceland. By the way, they are some of the richest countries. I think Switzerland per capita income, they are the largest in the bloc, is over $100,000. More than $1 lakh per capita income. Per capita. Now, they have developed technologies, they have done some fantastic innovation work. They can't use it. At Swiss manufacturing costs, other than Swiss watches and maybe some chocolates, I don't know where else they can be competitive. And they're looking. Sanjay was there with me. The Swiss invited me to a business conference in a similar association like ASSOCHAM, actually even smaller. It was a Swissmen conference where only there were the medium and small and medium enterprises, SMEs, no large companies. And I've been addressing audiences around the world. I've never seen 1,400 eager participants who registered to come in to listen to me. 1,400 companies were in that room there. And of course, India today also works differently. There were some issues raised on which we found solutions not in days, but in hours. In the course of the engagement there, we were able to sort out some of the issues that they flagged off. And we announced it. And I'm told by my ambassador subsequently that it has resonated very well with the Swiss companies present there. Just yesterday, a gentleman, Dr. Bose, I think, Dr. Bose, from Norway, met me. He has, of course, started moving his manufacturing to India. But he says, post that visit to Norway, were you there? I reached at 2 o'clock in the night. We started our meetings at 9 in the morning. And I had a 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock flight. That was the delta of time that I had available. We had 6 different engagements in those 7 hours that I was there. Working hours. And post that, this gentleman who came yesterday told me, the buzz across business in Norway is, India is our destination. And he says, we are looking for good partners. We are looking for companies of repute, good promoters, and the sky is the limit in terms of technologies, in terms of investments that can come from there. Because at their cost of manufacturing, forget going beyond Europe. They can't do any business beyond Europe. And with all the regulatory overburden in Europe, more and more of their businesses are either shutting down or becoming totally niche products or uncompetitive. Given that scenario, and by the way, these 4 countries have committed to invest $100 billion in FDI. I'm repeating, FDI. So Norwegian pension fund investment in our stock market is not covered. Otherwise, they can put in $100 billion in maybe 6 months and say our commitment is met. Yeah, these 4 countries alone. So the advantage at least of having a former investment banker is that we made sure every word is properly, carefully written in. And it's a twin commitment. 100 billion FDI and creating 1 million direct jobs. Now friends, these companies, and largely the Swiss companies, are medium level from their perspective. Family-owned businesses. Companies which have high-tech products but very small production, small value of production. For them to be able to capture world markets, all of Asia, all of Africa, Latin America, even to be competitive in America or other Japan, Korea type, Australia type developed countries, they will need an alternate and more cost competitive production base. And my calculation or my gut sense is that 100 billion FDI along with Indian promoter equity, and most of you allow that FDI only at a premium. when they come into your companies, and with stock markets at an all-time high, that 100 billion FDI will catalyze at least a $500 billion investment in India into brownfield or greenfield, and maybe in some cases even matured assets. Because there'll be Indian equity on that, and there'll be an overlay of some debt on that. There'll be some ecosystem impact, suppliers, customers, showrooms. There's whole ecosystem impact also of whatever comes in from there. Now just imagine only 4 countries, and not very large. Liechtenstein has what, 200,000 population? 100,000. But per capita income of 182,000, I think. But forget both these numbers. Some of the world's finest technologies have housed themselves in Liechtenstein for a variety of reasons. I don't want to get into that. Now, if they start looking at India, imagine the transformational impact it can have. But when they come to India, when they engage with us, they will need all of you. You will have to start open your mind. Whatever the government may do, we've created this enabling framework. And they're taking it seriously, because I can claw back the concessions we have given them in the FTA. And the good news, this will be the first forum I'm sharing the good news, so you have your headline coming out of ASSOCHAM. All countries have now ratified, all the 4 countries have ratified the FTA, lodged their documents with the repository, which was Norway, and from 1st October, EFTA will come into effect. So the Amitabh Bachchan style, the time starts now. And they're taking it seriously. They are continuously looking at India as an investment destination. अब आपके हाथ में है दौर, आपके हाथ में लगाम पकड़ना और उस पैसे को अट्रैक्ट करना, उस टेक्नोलॉजी को अट्रैक्ट करना. And let me tell you what more we are doing. 1 lakh crore rupee has been sanctioned by the cabinet recently into a fund, and that's 50-year money, so that money can revolve, can take many cycles. It can be given out to all of you or any company willing to do in research and development in the form of grant, in the form of low-cost loan, interest-free loan, long-term loan, whatever. Whatever model you find best or is found best between the investment committee and you. Now, all of you can easily understand when I tell you that a 1 lakh crore rupee, which is about $12 billion, invested, it will multiply through many rotations is another matter. But in the first instance, that innovation cost in Switzerland or Europe or America versus the same R&D cost in India, will it not be 1/6 or 1/8? $100 spent in America, you can get that same outcome, because R&D is largely human-oriented. And in any case, the talent doing that worldwide comes from India. So this $12 billion is equivalent to $100 billion of R&D. I'm not even calculating the cycles that will rotate going forward, with some money coming back, some more being given to fresh R&D. Even at the base level, this 1 lakh crore can be equivalent to 8 lakh crores. Can you imagine the jobs that will create? Can you imagine the new technologies that we can patent and innovate out of the Indian talent? Can you imagine that the amount of, we produce the world's highest STEM graduates, 2.4 million a year. Madam, 43% of them are women who come out of the STEM ecosystem. Imagine the huge potential that talent has. And since I mentioned that you convert crisis into opportunity, post-COVID, we've all learned, and the world has learned, that we don't need to struggle for H-1B visas anymore. Those days are gone. In the last 4 years, Sanjay, nobody has ever approached me for any help on an H-1B visa. We are not negotiating anything with the US about H-1B visas. Because if all or most businesses could run many processes from home, they suddenly realize, why the hell do we need so many people in offices in Manhattan and Frisco, when we can get the same thing done out of a global capability center operating out of India, where the talent is originally housed at 1/3, 1/5, 1/7 the cost. Why spend $200,000 on a good IIT engineer and take him to the US? You may probably get him to do the same job in India at $50,000. Real estate is much cheaper here, as most of you would know, compared rental of a high quality, top grade complex for a GCC is probably 1/10 the price here than it would be in a good locality in the US or in Europe. And all other associated costs. All that thing about electricity being expensive in India and all is actually not true. The power bill in Manhattan for a similarly placed office area would be at least 3 times what it would be in India, or in Mumbai, or in Nariman Point. After all, our purchasing a very strong economy, a very strong negotiating elbow room. And that's what the world is recognizing. Or I may say most of the world is recognizing. Those who do not, do so at their own peril, at their own risk. And I can tell you, every agreement that the Modi government comes up with, through very hard, strong negotiation, has had a differentiating factor. Our Australia FTA, the IT industry was strong.
नशा मुक्त युवा for Viksit Bharat